Welcome to the Marketing Strategy Show. I'm Cordelia Kate, and this is a live interactive show that I run every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Each week, I teach one clear marketing strategy that you can actually use in your business. Everything I share on this show comes with practical tools, downloadables, all inside our brand new space called the Strategy Lab. I'm giving you step-by-step guides, checklists, everything you need to implement every single strategy that I'm sharing here. And you can come and get inside for free with a free 7-day trial, and then come say hi, drop in the comments that you're here with me live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay, and I will see you in a second. Hello, welcome to the Marketing Strategy Show. Good to see you guys. Be here with me live. Drop me a hashtag live. Let me know that you're here. I can see we've already got a few people tuned over on YouTube, which is really cool. Let me know if you are on the tubes. If you are new here and you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Great to have you with us. My name's Cordelia Kate, and today I want to show you how to stop scrambling every time a new client signs up. If you are sick and tired of piecing together emails and threads and trying to remember what you emailed the last client that signed up and all the bits that you need to do, the T's and C's and the things that will get this client settled into working with you, then you are in the right place. By the end of this session, you're going to have a simple, repeatable onboarding system in GoHighLevel that feels human, keeps clients confident, and saves you hours without any extra effort. And I'm going to show you how to create more leverage as well, because a lot of people think that onboarding just means a welcome email. That's not right. I'm going to show you how to create some leverageable touch points that are going to support you when it comes to getting clients to continue working with you, getting clients to upsell, and also create that really awesome first impression that makes them feel like, oh my God, that was a really professional onboarding process. So welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us. And of course, if you are here with me live, I'm just going to drop into the chat. Let me just get set up a little bit. If you don't know how this works, I basically run this live every week and bring you a new strategy. Usually me, sometimes I have a guest. We've got some really awesome guests lined up as well, which is really cool. I currently one a month because, that's just the plan. And every episode, I bring you a strategy live on the show. It's always a bit messy and a bit like chaotic. But then what I do afterwards is edit it into like a 20-minute video. Right. So you can be here live and scrappy with me, which I love because I get to chat with you guys, answer your questions, hang out for a bit, which is fun. And then if you want to catch the replay of it, it'll be on the YouTube channel as a kind of more edited 20-minute-ish. They're all turning out to be 20 minutes. Basically, I just chat shit for 40 minutes, it seems, on these lives because I cut 40 minutes of crap out and just give you the goods. So the edited versions are there. And then, of course, the kind of extended show notes, if you like, are inside the Strategy Lab, which I will share with you. It is essentially our community that goes along with this show, where you can get all the steps, like step-by-step downloadable guides that I create off the back of every strategy to just give you the steps to go along with every single episode, every single strategy. The point of this is that there is a tangible outcome that you get from every episode, rather than just listening to stuff that's like, that's nice, that's cool. I'm giving you stuff that you can practically implement. Take what you want, leave the rest. You don't need to implement everything every week. My gosh. I know some of you are. Emily, shout out to Emily, who told me the other day she is implementing everything from the show every single week. That's flipping awesome. I love that. We don't need to implement what you want, leave the rest. It's just here for you to take as and when you need, of course. Welcome. That is what we're doing here. And this episode is all about helping you create a really slick client onboarding system. So when I'm talking client onboarding, most people think it's just about sending info, like, oh, I need to send a welcome email, or, send some T's and C's so that I've got all the kind of dots. Oh, let me just check something. Oh, bummer. Should we put the good mic? I've got this massive mic in front of my face and it wasn't even turned on. Might as well turn it on. Okay, the good microphone should be working now. It should be less echoey. Let's turn off the QR code for that as well. Bear with. Let me just sort this place. Let me just tidy up a bit in here. Okay, so A lot of people think when it comes to onboarding that it's about sending a welcome email and perhaps some terms and conditions, and that's kind of it. But really and truly, what having a really good client onboarding system does is it enables you to have slicker sales calls, because when you get into the closing part of your sales conversations, you just roll into the onboarding process, which is really slick because you know what that next step is. And when you go to do a presumed close, because you think, oh, this person seems like they might be in, you can just start onboarding them by getting them booked in for their first call, or saying you're going to send them the bits and pieces that you've got going on, that you're going to send them. And that's one benefit of having a slick onboarding system. Another benefit is that you're going to be able to then, once you systemize things, you can then look back and go, how do I improve this system? How do I make it better? You just can't do that well if it's chaos. And I have been the person, drop a me in the chat if you resonate with this. I have been the person that has loads of sales calls, is booking people in and getting clients, and woohoo, that's all great. But every single time I'm going to the previous person I onboarded, copying their welcome email, pasting it into a new email, going and finding the terms and conditions, refiring it up to send out, manually creating tasks in my diary to reach out to this person to get them booked in for X and reach out to them to get them booked in for Y, and just going through this manual process every single time. There's nothing wrong with that, apart from it causes stress. And also, if you haven't systemized it, you can't sit back and go, how do I improve this? How can I tighten things up? Because there isn't the energetic space to give it any more airtime that it's already getting. Like if you're already scrambling to find all the bits that you need and you're just about getting all of that done and then sending out, it's a big admin headache. You don't also have time to go, how do I polish this? Because it's just all a bit of a mess. So this is going to enable you to systemize, which will be great, and then improve that system, which will be even better. Because when you have a good onboarding system, not only does it help you with your sales, but it helps you with your first impressions. Your clients feel looked after from the word go. The worst thing you can do is take someone's payment and then not email them or message them for 2 or 3 days. Why? Because they're going to think they just got scammed. They're going to think that, even if we buy something that gives us instant confirmation, like, woohoo, your payment has gone through, you're in, we still go to our email inbox looking for an email confirmation of the thing we haven't bought. And if we don't have it, it's not normal. It makes us feel a bit uneasy. We're like, hang on, don't you normally get an email confirmation when you buy something? Maybe the payment didn't go through. So we go and check the bank. We go and check, maybe we'll then email and be like, I think I bought this thing, but I haven't had an email to confirm that I received it. So even though that person may be booked in 2 weeks ahead, you may have already got them booked in, you still want that confirmation. You want them to know, yes, the payment's gone through. Yes, the thing I bought is mine. And yes, everything is okay. Because if you leave space for even a tiny bit of doubt, you're creating your relationship with your new client on the foot of suspicion and like not being sure, which is a really bad way to start any relationship. So we want to start on the front foot by making them feel reassured. And that's going to be instant welcome email. You don't leave it a day. You don't leave it 2 days. It's instant. And that only can happen if it's systemized or you've got all the time in the world. Like if you're like me and you cram in things between things to make things happen, because hello, I am so busy. You don't have like a spare hour after every call to onboard someone manually. So that is going to enable you to give people a really good onboarding process that creates trust and makes them feel like, yeah, I just bought the thing that is the right thing that I should have bought, rather than, oh shit, like I've got buyer's remorse now. Should I have bought that thing? I don't know. So that's a real key benefit here. But then we want to be building a customer journey with this onboarding system so that we can think about not just their first impression, because even though that is important, getting them onboarded, that's the first step. Let's get that bit done first. But then we want to step back and think, okay, well, how can I improve this journey? Are there any touch points I can implement? Are there any sort of extra pieces that would be like a review call here or a check-in session over there that would be baked into the process that would improve their journey and would also probably result in continuation of them working with me or upgrade to the next level. Okay, so we want to be thinking with retention in mind and baking that into the onboarding right from the off. So what we're going to do is we are going to build that system today. I'm going to walk you through we're going to map one out together. We're going to pretend we are a coach with a coaching program. But this is applicable for any product. If you're a coach, consultant, mentor, tutor, trainer, if you are selling a service that is going to be delivered over time, this is going to be really helpful for you. If you're just delivering a product, it's still going to be helpful for you because you want to think about how do I enhance that process so it's not just, here you go, transactional, over and done with, finished. We want to be thinking about touch points and baking them in, which is going to help any business with any product everywhere. So that's what we are doing today. Let me check in with the chat. Good morning, John. Good morning, Emily. Good to see you guys here. Oh, we got two Johns on today, Mr. Drinkwater and Mr. Denley. Welcome. Good to have you guys with us. And if you are watching, please drop a little message to me to let me know. Drop a hashtag live. Say, hey, I'm here. I'm here on the live. That'd be cool. And, I'm building networks everywhere I go. So feel free to also drop a little plug about you, your business. Let's, in the chat, collectively support each other by getting connected on social media and chatting with each other too. So please give yourself a plug. Go. Come on, John. Come on, Emily. Come on, other John. Let us know, what is it that you do? What's your business? And where can we go to find out more about it? Feel free to plug that in the comments. You are allowed. Okay, so let me get my screen sharing up and running. And I'm going to just open up a whiteboard to start with. And we're going to map out a customer journey first. And then we're going to go to GoHighLevel and we're going to build this out. Now, if you haven't got GoHighLevel, then this is going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour of how to create it, or how to create this system in GoHighLevel. If you have got GoHighLevel, then this is just going to help you take that to the next level. If you're thinking about GoHighLevel, I was really kind of against it for a while because I'm like, all-in-one solutions always lose some quality somewhere. And the thing that's most important to me is email deliverability and the quality of email collection. So landing pages, thank you pages, email, they're the most important things in that whole GoHighLevel system. And I was worried about losing quality. I was on Converttree, which I loved, which I do not love anymore because they sold it and it got crap. I was on Converttree and I was on ActiveCampaign, which I also loved ActiveCampaign, but it was getting so damn expensive as our list grew that it was getting to the point where I was like, this is just unsustainable for a small business to be paying like I was coming up to like the next upgrade was £600 a month. It was just wild. So GoHighLevel was actually, I ended up moving on to it because of Converttree and because that page builder, what happened was it just stopped working a few times. So our ads were running, but no one could sign up on the landing page, which was a nightmare, which meant that we basically just hemorrhaged loads of money and broke our ad campaigns. And that happened a couple of times and they couldn't tell me why and they couldn't promise me it would be fixed. And then I found out that they'd sold. Anyway, so long story short, we had to move ship. And so we ended up moving to GoHighLevel. Now, GoHighLevel is an all-in-one solution for your email, your calendar, your landing pages, thank you pages. It's not perfect, but it does all the things and it's good. And to be fair, like we're not going to move off of it now. We are here to stay. But my personal recommendation, and some people but this may be an unpopular opinion, but my recommendation is that if you're going to go on to GoHighLevel, you get your own agency account rather than go in under someone else. And my reason for that is I want full control of my account and I want full control of what I'm paying for that account too. So you get your email sends and you get your message sends at cost price. Whereas if you go under someone else, the main reason why you would do that is for being under someone's wing and getting support on how to use the platform. But it's probably going to be a case where you're going to learn that and then want more control anyway down the line, especially if you're someone who is, wanting to master the art of marketing and learn these systems and be able to really scale your business and go somewhere with it, you're probably going to want more control of things down the road anyway. So my intention was always like, I'm going to get an agency account, I'm going to learn it well, and it's going to take me a bit of time, and it's all alien to me right now. I'm going to learn it, and then it's going to give me more control. Maybe I could resell it down the road, but actually, I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's in our future. I'm just recommending agency accounts. I do have an affiliate link. There will be one that I'll give you in the show notes, so that you can come in under me. And I'm happy to, if you do, to support you. Like if you get stuck, just reach out and I'm happy to jump on and help you out. Obviously, I don't have all the time in the world to give you, but I've got some. I've got the odd bit here and there. But yeah, so that is my recommendation with GoHighLevel. And, I know a lot of resellers, and what they're doing is great because they're building a community of GoHighLevel users and helping them and taking them under their wing and showing them how to use it. It's just that I'm like, I just want that control myself. And so I haven't gone under someone else. And also it removes the middleman pricing. And then on top of that, it also means that I am able to have more control over my account. And that is really important for being able to pick and choose your SMTP and things like that. So you want to go under someone, if you do go under someone who allows you to have a bit of control, and also allows you to move to your own account one day. If you want to take all your stuff with you, you can. But yeah, it's a whole conversation to be had on that. But just my 2 cents, if that's helpful. Let me know what your experience with GoHighLevel is. Please drop it in the chat. I'd love to have a little convo about that later in the comments. But for now, let's get stuck in with sharing screen. And we're going to go to... Okay, this should show you Facebook. Yay, it's working. Okay, so we're going to go to Canva. Let me turn off. Let's make the screen. Let's turn that off. Let's make the screen big. And we're coaches. Okay, so coaching's hat on right now. And we've got our product, just so that we've got kind of an idea of, we need an example, something to build together in this example. So as I said, this is applicable for people that aren't coaches as well, but we're going to use coaching as an example here, because coaches normally have a nice bang tidy. So we're coach, and we've got a nice bang tidy 3-month one-to-one program, which is, if we just look at it, and we're not marketing this program right now, we're working on the business in the back end, and we are, figuring out the systems and processes. So we don't need to dress this up right now. It's just we'll call a spade for the minute. 3-month one-to-one program, and we have like weekly one-to-one sessions. And that's kind of it. Like that's the structure of it. In terms of what happens on those sessions, perhaps there is a big planning session in terms of like what we're going to do over the 3 months. And then we have weekly, weekly, week. Oh my God. This is the bit that I edit out, like you guys get to see the funny bits where I can't spell, but over on YouTube, when it's just done, it's 20 minutes, bang tidy, all of that is removed. Right. So planning session, weekly, progress, maybe you call them progress sessions. And that's kind of it. Now, what we want to do then is we want to kind of map this out. So we have, let's get a shape. We'll have this shape. Oh, it's yellow as well. Okay, let's make it a different color. Let's make it blue. And then let's make the text bold and white. Sorry, bear with me whilst I just make it so that you can actually see what I'm doing, which will be helpful in the long run. Black, no, I said white, but we want it to be black in thickness and white in color. Cordelia, what are you doing? That one. Okay. Right. So first things first then is that we have the sales call. Let's just put this, we're going to keep this in, this is onboarding, right? So the bit that we're doing is like from the sales call that you have into them being like in your coaching program working with you. How do we get them onboarded effectively? So on the sales call and then into that first session. So you want to think about what are all the things that I have currently that I need to get done. Like have your little admin list. So the things that are probably on that admin list are things like we've got the first call, we've got the invoice or payment. Maybe you take payment on the phone. Either way, we can bake that in. The first call or the invoice. Then we have first call or invoice. Then we have maybe T's and C's / contract. Maybe there's an intake form. So, if you're a coach and you're working on like people's wellness with them or health of some kind, then maybe, you need to know about knee pain, back pain, pre-health conditions. Maybe you need to know about mental health. Maybe you need to know whether someone's on a prescription of antidepressants or whether they've spoken to a GP. These kind of things. Or maybe like me, you're a business coach and you need stuff like people's website links, their social media links. You need to know what their goals are, what they want to achieve, what they feel is holding them back, all those kind of things that just help you get a good vision for where it is that they're at. So that on that first call, you haven't got to go through all of that. You're on the front foot getting started with getting your teeth stuck into something. So some kind of intake form of some kind, and then welcome email. Let's go first call booked in. And so you can see already that there are a lot of pieces in that admin list of things that you need to do and get set up for this client to get started working with you. And that is quite a chunk of stuff. And so if you don't have a system created, every single time you bring someone on, you're scrabbling to find all these things and recreate them or repurpose them for the next person. So this system is going to take that headache out, but then it's going to enable us to stand back and look at the process and improve it and add more stuff to it. So we go sales call. And then from there, you might have like what happens on the sales call first and foremost. So I would have like sales call. On the sales call, I would do these two things. Booked in for first call. In this instance, we're going to assume that your preferred method, I just do this so that we've got a bit of a border. Your preferred method is that you send an invoice rather than take payment over the phone. So sales call booked in for first call with you. And then what else have we got on this list? We'll probably send the invoice afterwards. T's and C's we'll send afterwards. Intake form we send afterwards, and welcome email we send afterwards. So, but what that's going to do is the booked in for first call feels like you've done something together on that sales call. So what I would normally say is, awesome. Well, look, the next step to get you, the next step for us to get started is to just get that first call booked in. When would be a good time for you? I've got Tuesday at 11 or Wednesday at 4. And so which of those work for you? And so when you're getting that person booked in for one of those sessions, we know that they're like that's a presumed close. We know like, okay, they're booking in that first thing, that first call. That means they're in. Otherwise, you would say, oh, okay, let's get booked in for that first call. That's the next step. And they go, oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that yet. And so at that point, you can then go into your kind of sales, your sales, whatever you do. This is not about sales. This is about onboarding. So I'm trying not to get into that, but we can have a whole thing about sales if you want. So anyway, sales call booked in for that first call. And then you say to them on the call, I'm going to now send you list of this stuff here. So I'm now going to send you over your invoice. I'm going to send you your T's and C's. I'm going to send you a form so that when we start our first session, I'm on the front foot. I've got everything I need for us to just get stuck in. And I'm also going to send you a welcome email. There's been a lot of information shared on this call here. I'm going to send you the welcome email, which is just going to remind you of the journey we're going on and all the bits and pieces that are involved in that journey. So they're now waiting for me to get them that information. Okay. So then it's a case of basically setting up a system that fires those out. So we're going to use GoHighLevel to send onboarding stuff. That's all going to just be sent automatically in GoHighLevel. However, when it comes to the invoices, I hate GoHighLevel invoices. In fact, I had someone not pay their invoice because they said that they clicked the invoice link and them and their partner felt like it looked a bit dodgy. And when I looked at it, I was like, do you know what? They're not wrong. Like, they're really not wrong. It does look a little bit dodgy. So I just use Stripe invoices because I feel like, how do I do that? Yeah, that's better. I use Stripe invoices because I feel like they just look so much slicker and so much more trustworthy. Even though the GoHighLevel, it's secure and it is trustworthy. There's nothing unsecure about it. But the problem with them is that they just don't look like they are. So I think you can, make them look a lot better. But I'm just like, for what purpose? Why? Like, we've got Stripe. Let's just use Stripe. So I use Stripe invoices rather than GoHighLevel invoices. But we're going to get GoHighLevel to send onboarding, and specifically, the onboarding it's going to send is the T's and C's, contract, the intake form, and the welcome email. It's just going to send all of that. And in fact, the welcome email will contain the link to the intake form, and then the T's and C's contract will be separate. Okay, so we're going to set that up and GoHighLevel in a minute. But what we also want to think about is, okay, so then what happens? So they're going to have their first, so we're now mapping out a bit of our customer journey. They're going to have their first call. Now, that first call could be a planning session. If that's part of your process, that first call is the beefy one, where you map everything out. You have the big planning session where it all kind of gets brought to put down on paper in terms of what it is that you're going to do. But then what I would also do, and I have a team, albeit a small team, but I have a team that enables me to bake other things into my process. And I really recommend one of the things that you invest in when you do start building out a team is someone that helps you look after your clients. So Jennifer is on our team, and her role is head of client happiness. And one of the things that I do is, instead of her being booked straight in for her first call, so the person gets booked in for their onboarding call with Jennifer. So that's a really nice thing. What that also means is that I can put touch points in the process to get Jennifer to check in with people and see how they're getting on. And that's really nice as well, because those check-ins are just like an extra support. But in this example, we're going to pretend it's just you and you don't have a team. But if you do have someone that can do that, I really recommend it, because it just adds professionalism, but also gives another layer of just checking in, getting some feedback. And it's better if it, in terms of the positioning, if it isn't you doing all of that, just in terms of it looking more professional and positioning you as kind of more of an expert who's a bit, it's not just you on your own doing all the things, collecting all the invoices, checking in with all the clients. You've got someone supporting you with that. It's a good look. Okay, so first call planning, and then we go into second call. Now, you might have a process where it's the same time every week for these calls. And so on the first call planning, you might have you might map calls for the future. Or you might do that as you go. With my clients, we do it as we go. I have they have unlimited calls and they just book in as and when they're ready to. But yeah, you might map them in, or you might do it call by call. Either way, let's zoom out and let's think about this. So we've got month 1. Let's now put in month 2, and then we've got month 3, and then we want to think about end of program or graduation. Let's call it graduation. What are you going to do here that enables the potential kind of upsell? The worst thing you can do is just leave that wide open so that you get to it and you're like, well, we're kind of at the end of our 3 months together now. It's been a great journey, hasn't it? What would you like to do moving forwards, right? We want to bake that conversation in already from the beginning. They're expecting it. You're expecting it. It's booked in maybe, or they know it's coming. So in our system, Jennifer will reach out 2 weeks or maybe a month before their end date. And what she'll do is she'll say, hey, it's time to get you booked in for your next steps call. We used to call it a graduation call. And then we realized that we were planting the seed of leaving us in their mind with the word graduation. So we call it a next steps call. And the purpose of that call is for me to go over everything that they've done so far and make them a continuation plan moving forwards. And of course, then there's an upsell opportunity there, because if I feel I can support that person to implement the continuation plan and we can continue working together, I will say on that call and I will offer them their options. And so I used to give them 3 options. Option 1, continue. Option 2, move on to the lower kind of tier and just be in the membership. Or option 3, what happens if you leave altogether? So I would give them all the options, and then that would enable them to then make a decision of what it is that they wanted to do. Now, bear in mind, this call is 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before the end of the program. So we would just have a graduate. So let's call it a next steps call. And let's say 2 weeks, 2 to 4, let's say 2 to 3 weeks. 4 is too much on a 3-month program. 2 to 3 weeks before end. And then you've kind of got your continuation decision call, where you jump on with them and you're like, cool, well, we're now at the end of the program together. This is what we've mapped out are your next steps. I already gave you the options as to what the continuation options were in terms of implementing those next steps with us. You've got continue on the coaching, you've got move down to membership and don't get the support anymore, and you've got leave altogether. Which of the 3 do you want to do? Now, look, strategically, we can word that. I'm just, like I said, we're calling a spade right now. I might not offer the leaving altogether and, whatever. We can strategically discuss the way that you word that. But the point is that this is the process that you're then taking them through in terms of the customer journey. And then from there, it's going to be a case of, okay, they either left. I'm hating how fat these arrows are. Can I just fix my fat arrows? They're driving me mad. They're doing my head in. There we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, we'll forget the other arrows for now. Okay, I'm obsessed with formatting. It's a nightmare. So continuation call discussion will then lead into they either leave or they get re-onboarded. This is really important, because just because they've already in and they've already bought doesn't mean you don't want to take them through that really awesome special process again of getting them, maybe book them back in for a call with Jennifer to like re-onboard them and remind them of all the good stuff they've got access to, or like get them booked in for a new planning session where we're going to go over the new plan in detail, get them re-onboarded so they feel like they're going to get that experience again rather than just continue with what you're already doing. Make it feel a bit special. Yeah. So they're either going to leave or be re-onboarded in some way. So then we can take a step back and go, all right, well, what else could we do? What else could we do to just make this process more exciting and to make it a bit more, what's it called? Make it a better experience, but also increase the chances of them wanting to stay, of them talking about how great their experience is, because they're just having a great time. One thing that you can do and bake in here, and this does come down to profitability, affordability, and all the rest of it. I in my private consultancy, I do this. So you have an address in the form, and then a client welcome gift. Oh, client welcome gift. So they get something in the post. It could be a tin of brownies. It could be a piece of jewelry. It could be a hamper. It could be anything. Like I will get something based on that client and who they are and who I like. One of my clients at the moment, I bought her like a bracelet with a weight on the bracelet because she's a PT, right? So, I'll base it on who that person is. Maybe personal development books. I've done hampers in the past where I do stationery and my favorite book and something else. Maybe you've got your own bits and pieces that you can send out in terms of your own merch, for instance. But yeah, like that is a really nice thing to bake in terms of having that gift. That we're not going to be able to automate it and go high level. That's going to be you taking the effort, although you could do with with ChatGPT agent and all the rest of it if you're smart like that and you can set up a system. Good for you. I'm not going to show you that today though. I could figure it out, but I'm not going to show you that today. But yeah, so that's something. But just in terms of improving that onboarding process, improving that customer journey, another thing you could do is you could find out when that person's birthday is. And you could have a part of the onboarding process is that you have some chocolate from Amazon that you pre-order that is going to be delivered on that date for that person's birthday present. That would be a really nice touch. I've had that happen with me before as a client, and it was really lovely. So just little kind of onboarding things that you can think of. How can I, and other cheap things that are even cheap, like doesn't cost a lot of money. Could you send like a physical postcard? Can you spell postcard? If you can, you're doing better than me. Is postcard all one word? I think it is. Could you send a postcard that just says, I'm so happy that you have joined this program and I'm really excited to be working with you. So it hardly costs anything. Just send a little card in the post to just, a little something physical in the post. But that if you can send something in the post, that would be a really lovely way of onboarding your new clients. Now, this is what usually happens with a coaching program. Is that you have month 2 and month 3, it's just continuing and it just carries on. But like that is quite a big chunk of time. So what could you do? And you just got to have a think what makes sense. Is there something that you can bake in between month 2 and month 3 or in the middle of month 2? You'll be halfway through the program if you were in the middle of month 2, where you can just take a side step with your client and go, right, we're just going to take time out and just have like a bit of like a review of how are things going, because that's going to be really helpful. Maybe there are some questions you can ask. This is what we've done so far. How are you feeling about how everything's going so far? Great. This is what we've got planned. Are you still feeling in alignment with that plan? We've kind of opened this can of worms over here. We've opened that can of worms over there. And what that's going to do is it's going to ground you guys back into the plan, because it happens over and over again in a coaching program or a consulting program where you get started and then you end up wayward, or you end up doing something over here or over there and you get taken down this rabbit hole. And then what happens is you just have done 3 months of time together that haven't actually achieved the plan that you set out in the first place, which is fine because you've done great stuff and that's how it goes. That is how it goes. But if you jump in halfway through and have a halfway check-in session, maybe like to just recalibrate and make sure you guys are on the track that the client is expecting. So it doesn't get to the end of 3 months and you're like, well, we've done some great stuff, but actually we didn't set out to do what we achieved to do, So that would be a really good thing to bake in. So maybe we could put here midway check-in session. Now, you can, at the beginning, as part of the onboarding process, get that midway check-in session and that next steps call booked in already. I know people that do that. And that's quite nice because it's like a flag in the sand so that it's approaching. However, from a customer experience perspective, having to book things in that far in advance is a bit annoying. From a coach perspective, it's a bit dodgy. Like, you might book something in and then have to rearrange it, which is just admin and annoying. Like, I feel like when a client has booked that hour, even if it was double booked, that hour belongs to them, and you have to go with your tail between your legs and be like you're gonna your old boss and be like, oh, can I have a day off? I need to do something that day. You didn't book it off. It's like, can I reschedule the hour that I've got booked in with you there because something's come up? It's just annoying to have to do that. But that's why I don't book too far in advance. You know, I got 4 kids, and often there's a play or there's a parents' day or something that is coming up that I don't know is there. So if you do book stuff ahead, just be like, we're penciling this in. I'll let you know if I need to change it, so that you're not promising them that hour. But also, I'm not massively keen on pre-booking all these calls in advance, is because, number one, it's a bit boring to sit and look at the calendar and line it all up and book it all in. And I don't think it creates a fun onboarding experience to have to do that. So if you have a Jennifer, a head of client happiness, that you can have, we can set up a task that pings her in GoHighLevel to remind her to get that booked in, or just an auto email. Hey, it's time to book in for your midway review. Here's the link, get booked in. Looking forward to seeing you. And you take them to a calendar that specifically says midway review, and it's booked in as a midway review. So look, I think that'll do as a process, but guys, I would love to hear from you. Anything else that you think would be really smart to include in this journey? Also, has this sparked any ideas for you and your own customer journey? What out of this are you going to be implementing straight off the bat and putting into your own customer journey? Please do let me know. Happy clappy Jennifer works. Yeah, happy clappy Jennifer works, and happy clappy client coordination. Bloody hell, try saying that after a few drinks. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to go into the devil's lair. I'm a bit scared to let you in here. I really am. It's a wild space. This is our GoHighLevel. We have branded it to GoHighLevel because we have our own agency account, and it's just for a bit of fun. It's on the domain GoHighLevel. But yeah, anyway, so let's go to automation. So this is all going to happen in automations, and we're going to hit create workflow, start from scratch, because we do not need a template for this. And we're going to give it a name to start off with so we can find it again. New coaching onboarding. And by the way, just so I don't freak my team out, I'm going to put test or dummy. Let's put dummy. I'm like, what is this new coaching program that we're all selling here? Okay, so the trigger is the thing that's going to cause this to go off. I like to leave this trigger blank, because if I am on a call with someone, as part of the onboarding process, what I like to do is just go and manually drop them in to this automation. So I'm not going to open up my accounts and go and show you a person, because there'll be someone that will shout data breach at me. Fine. Okay. So I'm not going to do that, but I would just in the person's name, if you scroll down, you can see on the left-hand side, there is automations, and you can hit the plus button and add them into an automation. And I would do that manually so that I am in control of them being onboarded. What I don't want to do is add a trigger here, then forget what the trigger was, and that they get triggered if I tag them with something, and then go, oh, we've got 6 clients that haven't got the tag that they need, and then go tag them all and forget that it triggers this onboarding process and gets them emails firing at them and tasks being created and all the rest of it. So just leave the trigger blank and add people in manually, unless you can be super confident about that, and then that's your prerogative, but that's just what I prefer. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, is an email. Well, it might not be obvious. There's a few things that are going to happen here in succession. But yeah, so let's start with send an email. And from name, I have it stored in a custom value, but it's just Cordelia and Caroline. From email is team at Rebellious Business, but I have it, I just use custom values just to make sure that it's the same. I'm going to use a smart builder because I prefer that. But for this example, we're just going to put welcome email. And then what we can do, we need to make sure we have a subject line, and then we're going to save that action. So that one, we can actually rename it as well up here so that we can see from the outside what it is, welcome email. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tag this person. And the tag I'm going to use is client, if I could spell, client coaching. Save action. And I'm going to rename that so I can see what I'm tagging them with from the outside. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to segment so that I can include or exclude all of my clients in when I'm sending broadcasts or, doing things elsewhere. But if I've got them all tagged, that's really helpful. So coming back to our whiteboard here. So we've got the welcome email we said we're going to send. And then we also have the invoice, which I am going to do manually via Stripe. The T's and C's and the intake form. Now the intake form, can I duplicate this tab? No, I can't for some reason. All right, let's just do that manually then. There'll be someone shouting at the computer telling me how I duplicate a tab. I love you. I just can't hear you. Okay, so we're going to go to sites and then surveys and to a builder. And we're going to add a survey, start from scratch, because let's start from let's behave and start from a template. No, we're not. We're going to start from scratch. It's just they're too branded. It's too much. It's too much to change. Start from scratch. There we go. And you're going to essentially, in this survey, add any details that you need. Now, I like to do one thing per page. So you can add this plus button here and add a new page. So what I'll probably do actually is delete that and start with some text. So if I come down here, this single line text is asking them to input text. Oh, you can't see that. Hang on. Bear with. Let me make my head smaller. There we go. So this single line text here is actually just going to ask them to input text. We don't want that. What we want is just text on its own. So then we're going to edit this and be like, welcome. Welcome. I've just got a few questions to ask you so we can hit the ground running on our first call. Okay. And then here, you then going to put, do not forget to put name. Like you do need to know who it is. If you're signing a few clients at the same time, you won't remember whose form is what. And then new page. By the way, little tip for you with these items. So if we go to the settings of this, you can see on this one, because it's a predefined one, in terms of this already exists or in the system, all of these inputs are going to become custom fields inside your GoHighLevel. So right now you can see that the query key is full_name. And you can see that the placeholder is full name. And you can change the label of it and the placeholder. Probably get rid of that because we don't need it written twice, and probably just change that to name. then in here, we're going to put email. But when we move down to like ask some actual questions, this is going to become important because it's just going to give us some random code. And let me just show you what I mean. So the text box, the single line or multi-line, I'd say this one. The query key and the label is how it shows up here, but also in the submissions box and also on that customer's profile in GoHighLevel. It's going to have these boxes down the left-hand side, and it's going to show what they've filled in and answered. And so if it's single line underscore 342 VV, you are not going to remember what you asked them. You're not going to remember when they say, I like ponies because they're my favorite animal. You can be like, what's the context of this answer? It makes no sense to me. So we want to make sure that we put the label on there. So this could be, what is your business? Oh, that's a shit question, but what is your website? Website link. And you know what? Not everyone's got a website. So I might add a short label down here going, if you don't have one, don't worry. Just say none. Now, this is not going to automatically change. Let's click on that settings box, the query key. Yeah. So the query key is just how you're going to use this and find it in elsewhere in GoHighLevel. And so it's nice to just have this as something recognizable. So we could just put website link. I'm sure there's probably a predefined one here for website. Yeah, there is. But just as an example, like there definitely isn't a predefined one for tell me about your pre-existing health conditions, you know, like whatever it is that you want to ask. So you want to think about what are the questions that I need to ask that are going to let me prepare for this first session. And you don't really need to have anything more than what you're going to prepare. So let's just pretend that we're happy with that. We've asked everything that we need. The only other thing that we need to sort out is submissions. Once someone has, settings, sorry. And then on submit, once someone has submitted, what do you want it to happen? Do you want to just leave a message? Well, it's not going to be, we appreciate your feedback. So just make sure you change that for something like amazing. Can't wait to get started. Oh, amazing. This really helps. Can't wait to get started. Yeah, and then that's what they're going to see once they press submit. You might want to redirect them to watch a video or to book a call with you on your calendar link or something. But, in this instance, in this process, we don't need to do anything like that. So we're going to change this from survey 15 to onboarding dummy survey. So I don't confuse my team. Press save. And then if we come back into the welcome email, oh, hang on. Come into integrate, and we can share the link of it here. And then we come back into the welcome email. We can then edit the email. Here is the questions I'd love you to answer. And then just right click here and just hyperlink that with the survey. Unfortunately, there's no way of you making that survey link look prettier. You have to either embed it onto a page and then use that page link if you need to display the link. But if you don't need to display the link and you can hyperlink it, which we can in this instance, then it's fine. We just put it behind there. Okay, so let's come back to our plan that we've already mapped out. And so we've got the welcome email and the intake form sorted. Next, we need the terms and conditions to fire out. Send documents and contracts is going to be the next action that we need from Cordelia Kate. The template, let's use Caroline's T&Cs for this example, send directly, and the channel is going to be email and SMS, I would prefer. Now, the reason why I can select that is because inside, let's go back here. Inside, where is it? It's payments and then documents and contracts. I have a new one set up. I have one set up. And to set a new one up, you just basically upload an existing PDF. And then I'll show you real quick. Have I got a PDF that I can grab? No. Oh, I should have prepared that. Didn't think about preparing that. Anyway, you upload a PDF and then a bit like HelloSign, you just choose where you want people to sign it. And then it's saved here and then you can select it inside your automation. So we're going to send that document and that contract. You can also reference it in the welcome email, and you could probably link directly to it, but I'm not going to make this too complicated. I'm just going to say you will receive in another email, blah. Okay, what I will be doing in today's extended show notes is I will be showing you an example of a welcome email that has all the bits in it and all the things that I would say in an actual welcome email. But just for the purpose of this example, we're just putting a placeholder there. Okay, so then the next thing that I will do, come back and have a look at this. We've got the first call. We're already booking that on the sales call. So there's no need to book that in. We're going to do the send thing manually. We're going to have that address on the intake form so we can send them something if we want to do that. Then we've got month 2. We're going to do that midway check-in session. So even though we've done all the onboarding and all that, we can tick everything off because the onboarding process is done. The next thing we want to do is wait. And we want to wait 6 weeks. No, okay, that would have been bloody hell. 6 times 7, 36. Shit. Do you know what? If you just wanted to just check. Do you know what? Whenever I'm live, I must have had some trauma. There's 42. I must have had some trauma. Right, we're going to wait 42 days. I've had some trauma with maths when I was a kid. Every time I'm doing maths in front of someone, I go, ah, in my head. Everyone's like, you know, like in that movie where there's people in your head. What's it called? Inside Out. Like everybody in the control room starts running around screaming. That's what happens in my head. Right, save actions. That's now a 6-week wait stop. Let's go wait 6 weeks. Advanced window. Monday to Friday, and it can be exact time at 8 a.m. and that's going to send this out at 8 a.m. And then we're going to have an email. In fact, let's just copy the other email. Copy action, paste action. And this email is going to be book your midway call. And actually as well, just to be, let's wait 5 weeks because we want that to happen halfway through. So we don't want it to send halfway. So let's go 5 weeks and we take off 7, so that's 35. Okay. Book your midway call email, and that's going to book them in for that. Now, practically, like what we also would do if we have a Jennifer, and if you have a Jennifer, what we would do is to actually have a 2-week wait and then get Jennifer to call to check in. Be like, hey, how's it going? Just checking in to see how everything's getting on. How's your first call been? You know, that kind of thing. But if it's just you on your own, obviously you're going to be having the calls with those people anyway. Okay, just got a question from John. If you ever want me to try to remove that panic or trauma, let me know. 30 minutes over Zoom. Thanks, John. Right. So anyway, the book your midway call email. Let's come back to our plan. What we're doing next. Next, we're going to do the same thing, right? We've got the next steps call 2 to 3 weeks before. We're going to then wait another 5 weeks probably. And then have an email goes out, which is book your next steps call. Another thing that we can do as well that just makes this really nice to manage is we can build out a pipeline inside GoHighLevel. So if we that manages the stages. Oh no, let's not come out of that. Let's go in here. And pipelines are actually meant for, where is it? Payments, opportunities. These opportunity pipelines, they are meant for they're meant for essentially they're meant for sales calls so that you can manage the calls that you're having. So you have like a call booked and then, decision made, and you move them through this journey. As an example, let me just show you the package creation pipeline that we have created here. You create all of these separate steps that you can then automate inside the workflow. So for instance, we have a waiting onboarding call, and then we have package creation in progress. So for this example, we would have a waiting first call. So they've been onboarded, they're waiting their first call, and then coaching in progress. And then awaiting Jennifer to check in with starting challenges. We could have a waiting as soon as that 2 week, 6 week, 5 week thing comes, we have it automated so that it moves them into that space into that space on the pipeline, right? And then we do that all the way through. So we have different clients that are in different stages. And you want to think about your stages of working with you. In this specific program, we have different stages based on what we've done with that client and what they're currently doing. So for instance, we're creating a package with them, and then they're now in challenges testing that package. And then, we have the call with me and then the continuation decision. It's very similar to what we mapped out together just now on Canva. So you would create a pipeline, and essentially, let me just duplicate this. Or just create a new one. Here we go. Dummy. I can't open that one because it's got all of our clients on it, a load of our clients on it. Let's open this one. So if we go to opportunities and then go to dummy, there we go. So now when you have a person in here, if I search for Cordelia Kate, and just pop her in that opportunity, her being me. I can add me to an automation here. And then I can also add myself to the opportunity here. So what we would do is we would bake it into this process. So we go plus button, and then we search for, it's either create or update. They are getting rid of this create or update opportunity. So it's better to just do the beta ones and go add create opportunity. And the pipeline we're looking for is dummy. And then you can have different fields that you update within your pipeline as well. But just in terms of having them in the different stages, let's get rid of that and press save. And so that's now going to create that opportunity. So if I hit save on this workflow now, and we can test it, let's come back to me. I'm on the sales call with myself. They're a yes. Afterwards, I come in here and I add this person into the dummy automation that we have just made, which probably need to refresh the page. Did we not turn it on? It is on. New coaching onboarding. Why is it not coming up? There it is. No. What? Why is it not coming up? Right, let's try again. That's definitely on. And it's saved. And it's published. I have no idea why it's not showing up. That would happen live, wouldn't it? I'm so confused. Is it because the name hasn't... Let's come out and just check. It's not saving. It's being... Yeah, error. The version is outdated. Oh, we're going to refresh and lose everything. Here goes. I'm going to cry. Oh, we lost everything. That's so annoying. Okay, well, fine. This stuff happens all the time with tech. It's very annoying. Create opportunity. Dummy. Save. We've got the welcome email, add tag client coaching. Shit, I should have taken a screenshot. What else did we have on there? We had the contracts. From Cordelia. And then we had wait. It was 35 days. And then we had another email here. Oh, gosh. And the email was like book in midway review. Placeholder. Okay, and then wait another 5 weeks, and then it was an email to book in the next steps call. Gosh, this must be like watching paint dry and me building this out again. Either that or it's helpful seeing it a second time. I don't know. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, that's saved. Woohoo! Create opportunity. Right, let's come back to me. Put me in that workflow. Which is still not bloody showing up. I feel like that, you know, that man in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that's trying to get the machine to say something, and he keeps pressing the button and the machine keeps arguing with him. And he's trying to prove that this machine is amazing. It's still not bloody showing up. We've got a glitch in GoHighLevel happening right now. It's because I haven't turned it on yet. There we go. So you must publish it. I mean, I thought it was turned on, but it probably wasn't. I refreshed the page and it undid it. Right, we are back in business, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to come up now. Woohoo! New coaching onboarding. Just say it in my normal tone of voice because I'll cut all that out on the recording. There we go. Add. Cordelia has been added. You can see that I received the test welcome email and an opportunity has been created. And an email with the T's and C's has been sent to me as well. So if I look at the opportunity, it's this information here. That telephone number is wrong, so don't even try it. But the if we go into opportunities, we're in dummy. You can see that this person is now here under new lead. So what we can do is actually change these pipeline of like, so that it says instead of new lead, it says awaiting
first call. And then coaching in progress. And then due midway review, coaching back in progress. And then we can have due next steps. Awaiting continuation call. Something like that. So then if we go back into the opportunities, you can see that those stages are now, which should be, maybe I need to refresh it, or maybe it didn't save, which would be great, wouldn't it? All mapped out. Where did you save that? Right, it was awaiting first call. Oh, down, bottom right, coaching in progress. Due next steps call. That's it, save. That's all I've got the patience for. Opportunities are now there like that. So then if we come back into here, we've got create opportunity, but then we've got wait 5 weeks. Then we can update opportunity, and the opportunity, what we're going to update is we're going to move them to a different stage. Pipeline stage. We have to choose the pipeline. Okay, pipeline. Pipeline is dummy. Pipeline stage is, let's just pretend it's that one. Then what's going to happen is that person is going to then, after 5 weeks, get moved into that place automatically in the opportunity board. So when you come and have a look at your opportunity board, you can see where everybody is. You can see who's awaiting their first call. You can see who is awaiting that next steps call, etc. And it just enables you to do that without having to move everybody automatically. You can just see where everyone is at. And of course, you can imagine how you can actually use that for sales calls and helping managing your sales call process and setting up an automation like this that moves people through the stages in that opportunity. Another thing that we might do here as well after 5 weeks when they get moved into that opportunity is we might create a task, assign that task to reach out to, and then we're going to add this person's name, contact, first name, reach out to first name, and remind them to book in for their midway review. You're going to assign that to myself, and it can be due now because it's going to happen after 5 weeks. Save action. Just copy that and paste it there. Save action. Save. And so after they get onboarded, they're going to sit here and they're going to wait 5 weeks. And then after 5 weeks is gone, it's going to create that task. It's going to update. Oh, I clicked on something. It's going to update the opportunity. Create the task. It's going to update the opportunity and move them in that pipeline. And it's going to email them. Another thing you can do as well, if you don't check, because I'm bad at checking my tasks. Jennifer manages tasks and she loves tasks inside GoHighLevel. One thing that's helpful for me is send an email, but internal. I can't remember how you do that now. Communication, internal. Here we go. Internal. There is somewhere where you can send an email. Or maybe you go you do it in here, send email, and then it's internal in here. No, I can't remember how you do it now, but there is somewhere where you can send an internal email. Instead of sending it to them, you send it to yourself. There's loads of different things that you can do down here. And so it's just a case of, is it here? No. I don't know, but there is a way of doing it. But there we have it. And then, the real key is that process towards the end, getting people booked in for that next steps call. Because if you can pre-outline that process, what's going to happen is you're going to find you have a process that is built with retention in mind. And in that sense, you are building a program that has touch points in it that are really simple and really easy and enable you to have these conversations with clients about moving forwards, about continuing, about upgrading, about downgrading, about grandfathering, whatever it is that's applicable and appropriate for your program and your client journey. Having that baked into the process is going to really help. We have definitely had situations where it has just drifted, and we've had a client that should have been offboarded like 4 months ago, and they just haven't, because there's no system in place. And it does just make that, okay, it's time for us to end this agreement conversation a little bit awkward, because the client isn't expecting it and you don't really know how to approach it. So if you have it all mapped out like this, it just makes it so much easier for you to implement. Let me know if you have any questions. And apologies about the old tech not doing what it's told. I am a bit mad for deciding I'm going to do this live. And, it's a bit scary. But if it's not scary, is it worth doing? You know what I mean? Is it worth doing? Send internal notifications. Thanks, John. I couldn't find it. I did search for internal. That was a word I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. Cool. Yeah, there are loads. Sam saying Bloom is similar, but I did have a look at that because I know you do love that tool. Wow, it is raining here like mad. Don't know if you can hear it. That is insane. Wow, I'd be surprised if the internet doesn't cut off in a minute. Yeah, there are loads of ways. Like, there are loads of systems for this. There's Relatable, there's Active Campaign, but not in terms of having everything all in one place, where you can basically have it all in-house and not need Zapier or something to go and send a form with hello sign, or get like an all-in-one solution is really helpful for that, because it's all in-house. But yeah, there are loads of really good client management systems out there, and they all kind of work in the same kind of way. You just might need to piece platforms together with Zapier, or if you have an all-in-one system for it, then awesome. It'll just be exactly the same, but just with different buttons in different places with maybe different terminology. But yeah, cool beans. Well, there we go. There we have it. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them in the comments box, and everything from today is going to be shared on today's extended show notes, which you will be able to find inside the school community called the Strategy Lab, and also inside the Strategy Store, where you can get downloadables that I'm creating every single week off the back of this show. You can get them there and download them, and it walks you through the steps of every single process and gives you access to extra little bits. Like, off of the back of today, you'll have access to my welcome email, an example T&Cs, and things that are just going to help you streamline and smoothen your own onboarding process, because you've got examples from a real company and a real working process that you can model and make your own. That's all from me. I'm Cordelia Kate. I look forward to seeing you live next Tuesday at 11 a.m. or inside the Strategy Lab. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.